Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to the finale of ChronoBloom. uh, and I love the fact that Sunny, we thought wasn't available, is now chilling in. Is now chilling in chat. Hi, Sunny. How are you doing? Before we get started with what is probably a very fun final showdown, reintroductions might be in order. So, everyone, meet Kay. Who are you? What do you do? Where are you from? Where, why, when, how, whomst?
Yeah, that's where am I from? That's way too. Hi, I'm Kay. I do video game stuff by day, TTRPG stuff every chance I get. You can find me most places at KDamnFear on socials. If I'm not there, you can find me at Catacolsum, which is the TTRPG production company that I run with my bestie. Find us on Tuesdays for the Table Talk Show, where we do all things TTRPGs. And yeah, I'm playing Kinley, and this is going to be very fun.
Amazing. And next, what, where, when, why, how, and whomst? Rosie.
I don't know if I'm going to get them in that order, but I am, in fact, Rosie, Sweet Rosie B, just about everywhere on the internet. I am a storyteller, TTRPG performer, artist. I make dice bags. I do lots of stuff. I wear many hats, and I love every single one of them. Today I'll be playing Hana Kuset, who is a very stressed out lab tech, but is absolutely here for this adventure and looking forward to it.
Amazing. And finally, hi, I'm Tavernaut. I go by he, him pronouns. I do the TTRPG thing here. You've found me here, so you probably know who I am. Or you're very confused, in which case, hi, we all are. The things that I have to promo are, we have a Patreon. It would very much be appreciated if folks... Wait, no, it's support, not it's exclamation mark support, not Patreon. I know my own bot commands. Honest. Yes.
I'll make 4 different aliases for the same text.
Oh, yeah.
So whichever one I reach for in the moment, it's there.
I totally should do that because I can do that in streamer.bot. I just forgot. But yeah, so first off, Patreon. If you're not subscribed yet, subscribing really helps. Liking the stream also really helps. And just interacting through chat really helps. All of these things get tracked by YouTube, and it is what YouTube uses to decide whether or not to show this to more people. And that would be wonderful. If, however, you have a little bit of cash to spend, it'd be very much appreciated if you were to throw us some money by going to half.yt/Patreon or patreon.com/Tavernaut. Both of them will work. And become a patron at any level. There's levels for pretty much every wallet size. At the $3 and up tier, you get access to these wonderful, wonderful dice. And I'm going to ask someone else to roll them because I'm not in the founder yet. Panic.
I just rolled 4 and I got 3 6s. I have now wasted.
I just rolled and got a 6.
I wasted all of my good rolls.
No.
Let's see what I get. 5 to 6. 4 6s.
Oh my gosh.
I have literally rolled nothing but 1s and 6s.
Yes, and by that logic, the next roll is going to be a 1.
Tav, tell your dice that there are numbers in between.
I will inform the 3D. I will inform 3D dice. That's what it's called. So if you want to know the system that we're running, you can find that information over in the chat right now. We're going to be playing Girl by Moonlight, a Forged in the Dark based game by Evil Hat that was kickstarted last month. They currently do have pre-orders open, and they're planning on delivering in, I believe, January or February of next year. So it's all relatively close. And if you buy it right now, you will get the pre-release book, so you can actually just play Girl by Moonlight. You just won't have the that thing. Many book, stack of book. I'm a book goblin. I believe that is everything. Oh, no. One final thing. there is the new stream has been announced for August. August is going to be a little bit more of a quiet month, by which I mean I won't be streaming every week, unless I have some other streams planned. But there will be a massive amount of streams on the last weekend when I am going to be running a RPG-a-thon for the Entertainment Community Fund, which is a fund that supports anyone essentially in the entertainment industry that is affected by the strikes. So not just actors and screenwriters, but also techs, costume departments, anything. Because these strikes affect a lot of people. And while I'm 100% in favor of the strikes and fuck the industry, I am not in favor of people starving to death or being kicked out of their houses, Bob Iger. Anyway, with all of that out of the way, we should get to some trauma, shouldn't we?
Sounds good.
So, as the show comes back into focus, we find ourselves a bit back in time. The firefight and the stress and the forced coming out to one's parent being no, this time it's not your fault. This time it was fully chosen by Sunny. But all of that hasn't happened yet. However, it is gonna happen. But our two friends here, or well, our two acquaintances here, don't know that yet. So we find Rosie, we find Hannah entering Kinley's bookshop as she got a rather interesting message.
Aw. The email from the twins?
Correct.
I think she will take a look at that on her phone and like quickly start popping open the files or note that there are files and head to the lab where she can actually view them on like a proper monitor.
So, as you open up those files, there's a lot. Like, this is probably what looks like years of research. A lot of it, and well, first roll of the day. Let's see if you can actually roll decent rolls while you're when you're not rolling to show off. Go ahead and roll some roll an analysis check.
Analysis. I get to do two.
Nice and simple.
Let's see. Okay.
Okay.
There's a 5 in there.
5. Yeah, that's reasonable. So that basically tells me I'll actually create a long-term project for you that this essentially starts that. We'll call that a 6-segment long-term project, and with a 5, that gives you 2 segments marked.
Excellent.
Which is those projects have all been done. So 6-segment clock, 2 marked, and the project that you're currently working on is deciphering research.
I think as she's going... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, both you can work on this as your future downtime actions, and Kinley can work on this as well. So actually, keeping that in mind, I'll make it an 8-part clock, not a 6-part clock.
Kinley is not very good. It's all right.
Yes, but Kinley has something that Hannah absolutely does not have. Future sight. Oh, yeah, I should probably pop Foundry open. One sec. But yes, so you gather up all of that information and make your way over to the bookshop. Where what is Kinley doing right now?
I think Kinley is just trying to grapple and tackle all of these things that they're coming to realize, and they've been doing a big flurry of nothing. There's been a lot of movement and rearranging and trying this and trying that, and nothing is really settling them. So they have gone out into the garden with his guitar, and he's just kind of settled up in a nice shady spot and not even really making good music, like just kind of absently plucking at strings, and a couple chords come out, and then he stops and stares off, and then they're like, oh yes, back to, makes a couple bars of nice music, and then they're just gone again.
Yeah. Honestly, it sounds like you've just described what your stress-causing event is going to be, like your obligation. We've kind of been winging obligations a little for the last episode because everything is moving quite quickly. So you don't really have time for your other obligations. But in this case, I think your anxiety has been playing up, hasn't it?
It's everything Kinley thought they understood about the world and what they're supposed to do here is not working out. So yes, they're trying to figure out.
Yeah, so with your anxiety playing up, I would love it if you would roll me a stars.
Oh, I don't like that one.
Well, I'm afraid that is what the stars obligation is. Your obligation puts you under social pressure or sets off your anxiety.
Oh, it's a 3.
That's a 3. That's not awful.
No,
it's not great, but it's not awful.
Be worse.
So that means you take 3 points of stress.
That tracks.
Meanwhile, let's actually quickly hop over to Hana, because what has Hana been doing to de-stress or cause stress?
I think she has all of the things that they collected during their disastrous bout of espionage, between what the twins have sent them, which she is trying to focus on the logical side of it, but she finds herself kind of her breath will hitch every time she gets to like the more emotional parts of that email where the twins are being supportive and saying that they love her and like they miss her and all those things. So she's trying to push those feelings down while focusing on the logic, which she does find a quiet comfort in. So between what the twins have sent, what was collected from going through the computers at Interbevco, and the 2 not completed prototypes, she's just laying everything out in the lab and finding a little bit of comfort in the logic and the process. And where she would normally have like music or something going when she's working with her plants, it is dead silent in this lab.
Would you say that this would be more physically taxing for you, or it's like because you're not describing this as being driven to despair, and you're not describing as this setting of your anxiety or being social pressure. So I think physically taxing seems the most fitting for this, which is very good news for you, because that means you get to do a sun roll.
Oh, thank gosh, I get 3.
Which means that there's a chance of critting.
Let's see.
That's not a crit, but it is also only 2 stress.
Okay, that's not too bad.
I know, right? I'm being so nice.
Doing okay.
Doing okay. What is reflected on the sheet and what Hannah's actually feeling are very different.
To be fair, like the stress on the sheet on these sheets is like instant stress, more like. Whereas like the constant grating stress in the back of your head isn't really represented by that. Would be cool if they had a similar mechanic to what Blades in the Dark has for traumas. But that is neither here nor there. Now you make your way into the bookshop. You both have 2 downtime actions available. I after double checking your sheet, I do see that you both have some wounds on them. So you may want to take care of each other. And otherwise, you have a potential long-term project that. Let me put it like this: it won't be the end of the world if you don't finish it, but it will be very useful if you finish it. It might be useful if you finish it. Or alternatively, you could. This is always an option. You could instead decide to forge some links with each other, which would also be very useful.
Hannah, what level of harm does Hannah have?
It's just the one. It's a bruised wrist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is one that would actually need to be taken care of rather than the vexed kind of harms.
Gotcha.
And what was yours? You had a twisted ankle?
I have that, and I have a claw that I still haven't fully recovered from.
I believe you don't have the twisted ankle. You didn't take.
Yeah,
take
that's
that one.
right. I did not.
Because you just decided to run downstairs rather than jump.
Yes.
I think we might find ourselves in Awa's infirmary.
Okay.
It is like the infirmary does open into the garden.
Yeah.
This is true. This is true. So you find yourselves in Awa's infirmary.
Above the table, do you prefer a link or would you prefer a heal?
Ooh. I'd prefer a link, I think.
Okay.
To be fair, like links can also be used to ignore damage for a while.
Well, and with the level 1, it doesn't.
Less effect. You can. There's very easy ways to get more effects that if you're in lesser effect position.
Yeah.
Like getting into a desperate position. Fair warning, you'll be in a desperate position when you get in.
No, really?
No.
Everything's gonna go peachy keen.
But yes,
yeah.
so you are going to go attempt to make a connection instead. And I'm assuming that Kinley would like to be helped recover, right?
Would be one. I imagine that like Hannah comes in, the door just like doesn't even have to like Hannah approaches the door and it just opens.
Which
I was like, oh yes,
speeds her out a little bit. Magic.
You. And then you hear this kind of coming and going music, and slight as you get closer, slight curses as Kinley's like just can't get their head in the game, and you follow it out and you into the infirmary, and then you peer out and see them sitting, under a tree, plucking at this guitar, just rolling a shoulder. What I told.
Do you want? I mean, we have medical supplies. We can. You need help with that?
Hannah, lovely to. Yes, if you don't. Would you mind terribly? It's. And again, they'll pop up, put down the guitar, bring the guitar inside.
Yeah.
Don't want to get rained on.
We have to take first aid training with the lab and everything, so we know what to do in case there's an emergency. It doesn't look too bad.
It shouldn't. It's almost there. It's really almost there. And they, take off the patchwork coat, and then shrug off the like flower embroidered shirt. And again, you see those weird little white, almost deer-like spots down their back.
Oh, so you still have like magic stuff even when not with the antlers.
I won't always have horns, but yes.
And like, I think Hannah has just noticed that you do still have horns.
Yeah, like you really can't see
little.
that they'll kind of like part their hair, and you see these little bitty, tiny, like little budding horns. Yes, I did. Yes. Wasn't always like this. I'm not sure if it's a future thing or if it's my particular magic thing. It's.
I'm now sensing that Hannah needs to really restrain herself to not take a DNA sample.
We need to analyze this. No, she's not. She's not the bad guy.
But yeah, it sounds like the way you're going about this is probably with analyze. Like you're actually like being, you're going over the wounds. You're falling back on your training. So, and I believe that's also good news for you.
And because I'm out of time, you do roll with an extra dice.
Oh.
Yes, and because you have a healing space, you roll with an extra dice.
Okay, so that's 46 total?
Correct.
Excellent. I did my best. That's a 5 and a whole mess of 4s.
Well, that is a shame because you can actually get links from recovering, but you need 2 6s for that. However, with the 5, you do mark 3 segments, which means that you mark your track to full, and then
It's auto-filled 2 more because I have 1 permanently filled.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's auto. You marked it full, then it auto fills 2 more, which puts you at 3 filled out of 1. Yeah. So and your clawed thing disappears as you've covered that one enough.
She's just wrapping the bandage around your shoulder, making sure there's plenty of like disinfectant and as well as some like numbing agent so it doesn't hurt you and all sorts of good stuff.
You see them like rolling his shoulder, being like, "Oh, that's much better. Thank you. I always knew you were talented, but you surprised me every time."
Thank you. I'm glad I could help. She's just kind of like tense as she backs away a little bit.
Yeah, Kinley kind of looks her over and pauses. How are you doing?
It has been a lot for 2 days, 3 days. It has been a lot. I'm trying. It's hard not to feel like some of this is my fault with Enrico leaving and creating a small army of whatever those things are. I told him to take that shot, and at least now it's localized, but
Enrico's leaving is my fault if anyone's. Let's be honest. I don't think I've impressed him over much. I know this has been a lot for you, and I know you're not terribly comfortable with all of kind of jazz hands.
Yeah.
What is it you believe in, Hannah? Just humor me.
In general, or I believe in people for the most part. I believe in facts. I believe that we can find beauty in everything if we look hard enough, but it's getting real hard. Especially seeing some of the ugliness that we have in the past couple days. I'm finding myself faltering in a way that I'm not used to. I find myself falling back on things I can believe in and want to believe in and are solid, and it feels like it's crumbling a little bit in a way that's very scary.
Well, I know I said this to the twins a bit ago, but I'm saying it to you again because it is extra important for you that you cannot. Do not give in to those impulses, Hannah, please. It is very important that you... But perhaps... All right. I think I can help. Magic is strange to you, yes?
Very much so, yes.
So, once, long ago, maybe not so long ago, but long ago in the grand scheme of... People would be traveling, leaving their homes for the first time, going somewhere they've never been, with a group of people that they largely don't know. And along this journey, one of these people would, upon reaching a crossroads, say, "Oh, we have to take the long way. The bridge is out." And they would look around and there was no bridge in sight. And they'd say, "How do you know?" And they'd say, "Well, I saw the signs." And they'd motion to some kind of marking on a tree or a rock. And they'd say that doesn't mean anything. And they'd continue on their way. And sure enough, a few miles down the road, the bridge would be out. And they'd turn to the person and say, how did you know? And they'd again say, I saw the signs. I read the signs. And then that was magic, when we would simply know it as reading. And at another point in time, some strange person would come to town and set up a terrible little shop that was hot and smoky and enclosed, and would pay people to bring in rocks from deep within the earth, just dirty, ugly old rocks. And they would take these rocks and hammer them, and there would be these horrible rituals with heat and fire and smoke, and it would smell foul, and somehow these rocks would transform into liquid, and they would pour this liquid onto another hunk of metal, and they would pound on it with hammers, and horrible heat and horrible rackets, and they would be hissing as they dunked it in water, and eventually a hoe would come out, or a shovel, or gods forbid, a sword. And that was magic in those days. Magic, gods, or whatever you need to call it, has long been used to explain things we simply can't understand yet. And what I'm trying to say is, it's all right that you don't understand. You don't have to be afraid of that. It just means you'll eventually be able to explain it. Maybe you'll be the one to explain it to the world. You're terribly clever, you know.
I like that way of looking at it. That makes a little more sense. I just want it to make sense now, and it is frustrating not having a guide, especially when I feel like I'm doing it wrong.
Well, I don't actually know. Can you do science wrong? I don't actually
yes.
know.
Yes. Very much so.
All right. Then I can't assure you on that part, but I do believe in people. Not all people. I mean, obviously I believe in people because people are here. I believe in peoples, individual peoples. And if you give peoples the right information and the opportunity, I believe they will make the right choice. And I really need to believe that of you.
And I'm going to need your help because this is all new, and I keep saying that it's new, and seeing how you all fall into your power is breathtaking and fascinating, and I feel like I'm being shoved into mine from a place of fear and anger, and that doesn't feel right. It feels powerful in the moment, but I don't want to become whatever those things are, because that seems to be what triggers that, and I don't know where that line is because it hasn't been defined.
It's this part is always difficult for you because it's not logic. It is feeling, and it is. And Kinley will, if she'll allow, like take both of her hands in theirs. Just, I really need you to focus on not what is powerful and not what is angry or scary, but what it is you want to accomplish, what it is you want to protect, and what it is you want to be. I find it very... I've gotten better, but I found it very difficult not to be angry with people all the time, because I understand. I do. And it requires discipline and training, and I feel like it's rather the same as observation, right? You have to observe yourself, and you can do this. I know you can.
Thank you for believing in me.
Of course. That science thing did help, yes?
Yes, very much.
Wonderful. You taught it to me, so I thought it might, so that's good.
We feel very different, don't we? You and I, we have very different ways of looking at the world.
Oh, I was going to say, I think we both feel fleshy, but yes. We definite.
I mean, you have the horns, but yeah.
I've always just wanted to see where things take me. And that's... I thought that would be... Are you familiar with this idea of butterflies and wings and like hurricanes? And
Oh, yes.
I don't think I've told you, but I'm sure you inferred from previous conversations that I am from this time. I'm not from this me is not from this point of this time.
I surmised as much, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. Nothing seems to have broken yet, so I'm assuming that it's fine.
No, yes, I believe in peoples, and I was rather convinced that just simply showing up and doing a little light flapping and things would simply fall into place. I didn't exactly receive a manual when I came back here, so I just, winging it. I wasn't always so disconnected from technology and popular culture and all that, and I'd seen a number of stories and tales and movies about, time travel, and I was afraid of flapping too close to the sun. Mixing metaphors.
I like it.
Thank you. I like you. I was concerned about, I think perhaps I need a bit of a stronger touch. And I will admit I was somewhat avoiding you simply because I didn't want to unduly influence you in a wrong way, if that might happen. And perhaps you needed more guidance, more of me. I apologize. I'm sorry.
It's fine. Did you choose to come back to this point?
Oh, no, she chose.
Can I ask her why this point?
And Kinley will just look up and, do you want to answer that right now?
She talk? That might be too much for me, actually.
She doesn't really talk. You can just feel.
So there's two questions I have.
Side-eyeing the house.
One, does Kinley want a house to talk?
I think Kinley communicates with the house, and the fact that the house might need to talk for other people doesn't even occur to them.
More specifically, does Kinley want the house to say anything here? Or would Kinley very much like a excuse to not talk about the specific things?
Kinley is down to do whatever the house. What Kinley is not in the driver's seat as far as Kinley is concerned.
Okay, fair. The reason I'm asking, I'm asking more because the house has a general idea of what Kinley thinks. So that's what I'm asking: does Kinley, in their subconscious, want this to happen or not?
Awa is their own person.
Yeah, Kinley is. It does Awa think that will help? Then Kinley wants to. If Awa doesn't think it will help, then no. Then.
Very well. In that case, as you are talking with each other, Awa stays silent. There's you for a second are like, yeah, she definitely the house definitely talks. Definitely anytime now. Any moment.
I mean, sometimes you more feel it than you hear it. So just just.
And the house just stays silent. And Kinley, you do after a few seconds get this feeling of mild distrust. It's not like that the house doesn't trust Hana, but it's is this a good idea? Probably not, maybe.
I believe she's perhaps feeling a bit shy. I mean, she's already got two of us inside her, so it might be a bit
phrasing.
Deliberate.
Oh, gosh.
Deliberate for the player, clueless for the character.
Well, that's fine. I think having a house talk to me might be a lot.
Again, it's not words. It's not like
Words might be better than just a
Oh.
feeling. Words,
now I'm
I
very
can-
confused as to what you want, but all right.
I want to go analyze some data.
Are you going to recalibrate the weapons there, Garrus?
I'm gonna go to what I know. I'm gonna go to science and I want to see if we can maybe get a little more insight on what. It's so weird knowing that Helios is affiliated at the very least. 'Cause they have their hands in everything, everything, literally
Everything,
everything.
including evil.
So I really want to figure out what those connections are and what the little things I picked up from the garbage were.
Do I recognize those?
Can you remind me what the things were that you picked from the garbage?
The
the devices. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not complete. Picked up 2 incomplete models.
Good question. Question I can answer by this actually factors into your clock and would be a downtime action. But first, first, you all did such a good job role playing out a downtime action that we should really roll dice for that and help create links. So I will leave it up to you, Kay, to say which of your approaches you're using to create this link, because like I can think of multiple after the roleplay that you all have had.
I got a new point in empathize, so I could do that. I can do a confess.
Empathizing seems sensible. Confess,
Right?
empathize or confess seems to be like the most. Seems to be like the most sensible. I assume that this is something the other character would appreciate. So that's another +1 die.
I could argue for another, but that's perhaps tipping my hand a bit.
Would you like to argue over PM?
I will.
Let me take out my headset.
No, I will message very quickly.
No, go ahead and send that. Go ahead and send that note across the table towards the DM.
Yes.
that is how we keep the audience in suspense as well. Oh, by the way, on that question that you asked me about last week,
Yes.
because I completely forgot to answer that. Here's the fun thing: you are not familiar with this stuff.
Oh, all right.
Well, you were beyond what I told you last session that it seemed very similar to a combat drug that was used by that was used in the future.
Okay.
I want to know the secrets.
Go ahead and roll forgive. Don't worry.
Don't worry about it.
No, forgive makes a lot of sense. Please go ahead and roll forgive.
That's a 5.
Oh, also, Kay, Kinley got a point in empathize.
Yeah, I filled up from the experience last time. I filled up my sun track, and then I also filled up my playbook. So I also have rewind and return.
Ooh.
We forgot about that, and we were going off of your original stats. Can you roll another d6 for me, real quick?
Ooh.
Don't worry about it. It's probably not a problem.
It's a 2.
We burned all our 6s.
Okay, well,
I know.
In that case, it doesn't
Still
do
angry.
anything. This was basically to check if your stress track didn't would go lower if you'd rolled a 4, 5, or 6.
Gotcha.
Sadly enough, no. And which of the time traveler abilities did you get? Rewind, return, right?
I have been through this timeline at least once before. Flashbacks cost 1 less stress than normal. How did this go wrong the last time?
Amazing. So now go ahead and roll forgive with 1 bonus die.
I did with a 5.
You did with a 5. Okay, so you give 3 links
Oh, excellent.
On that means those links are on you and
Mhm.
given to Hannah.
Brilliant.
Now you wanted to do some research on those items that you were
Mhm.
given. I'm also going to ask if well, let's first do that because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is actually a chance that you get this with a critical. Um,
That's a lot of faith.
Um, so if I don't have any ideas of how to counter the things that we encountered last time,
right.
then I can either assist you or I can spend some time patching you up. Because if I can't if I can't do what I was hoping I could do, then I've got
Yeah,
another downtime action.
The thing that you could use that downtime action for is to help gather information on the deciphering research, because that is actually linked to those devices that you saw, and those you are familiar with. You've seen those in action before. So in that case, it'd be less like helping with research and more figuring out what the implications of the research are.
What skill would that be?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Ah.
I mean, I'll call it analyze with a +1 circumstantial.
You can do that. Yes, I'm happy to do that, unless you'd rather me patch up your wrist. But we do have enough links that I can help you just ignore that.
And I'd like help with the analyzing. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll for it.
Both of us are rolling analyze?
Well, I'll let Kinley roll first.
Yes.
Okay.
Because Kay has 2 dice for this, which, if they are both 6s, would mean that you just get this.
What do you think the odds are? No, 5 and a 2, but 5 isn't bad. I'm rolling very well for me today.
5 isn't bad, so
Kinley's
that
on their
is
game.
3 segments marked. 1,
Oh, nice.
2, 3, which puts you 2 segments away from deciphering research being completed. So what you begin to figure out as you start reading through these is like stuff that you've already stuff that you already were talking about with them. This is like infancy in its infancy stages, but it's very similar to work that Helios had put out back in the future. And like you have seen similar designs to this on area denial fields, which like that actually actively made you recoil for a second as you looked at it, because those are essentially well, they're called thresholds in the future, because magical girls react to them similarly to vampires and thresholds. Or
yes,
Fae and thresholds. They're basically they create a sort of repulsive effect. You've also seen them used in crowd control situations, very specifically targeting magical girls. What you have here is essentially magical girls / consumed kryptonite.
Yeah, I think Kinley
not
picks one up.
Not active, so not directly dangerous, and it's less of an indiscriminate weapon that like kryptonite is. You can actually target this specifically at someone, but like it would take some work. But you probably could create some kind of magical suppression with it. Attack with this.
I think Kinley picks one up, like just kind of sees Hannah working on something and not really fully paying attention, picks it up and then like immediately drops it. It's like, oh, that didn't hurt. Oh, wonderful.
You okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Where did you get these?
I found them when we were infiltrating Interbevco. They were in the garbage next to some 3D printers in the lab.
Well, that is where they belong. They're not functioning. That's good. You familiar with are they still, is it this time, is it those those invisible fences they used to keep dogs in?
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like that, but for us.
Like anti-magic.
Yeah, it's really, I picked it up and I dropped it because I assumed it was going to hurt. But it
Oh,
didn't.
no. So you know what
It's
these are.
Oh yes. They were used frequently and in the later times. In the yes.
From where you were.
I was
when
fighting.
you were. Yes. Okay, so these are meant to hurt us.
They can be used to, they're mostly used to control the battlefield. Put us in bad positions.
Like
let civilians escape so that they can, do be bags of dicks.
And like Hannah was taking notes and like pauses. And like it's almost going to write that down, but it's just used by enemies.
Oh, not just enemies, Helios.
Oh, specifically, okay.
Oh yes. Oh yes, they're terrible. Why do you think I don't have any of that?
Oh, because Helios is who funds Hannah's labs too.
Yeah, to be fair, Kinley, you would know that Helios, you've had to work with Helios in the past before, and like bootlegged versions of these have been used not just by Helios, but also by like just general ne'er-do-wells.
Yeah, there's a black market for them too in the later, but mostly Helios.
When you say later, because I'm trying to get a grip on this. These were prototypes. What I saw in the lab. When is your was your later? How long until that is the reality?
You see Kinley like look at this and like think, kind of trying to gauge the technology, and just looking at it, you see like their eyes go dark. Like they said just a moment ago that they used to have a really hard time forgiving. And in this moment you see that sort of just something very dark touches them, and it's like, oh, that's real, that they weren't just exaggerating. And I'm absolutely rubbish with technology. I don't it's not going to be tomorrow, if that's your question. I don't think.
Well, I would hope not. But just trying to get a gauge on like how far. I don't know. I'm just trying to.
When is Judgment Day happening?
Right.
Yeah. What year?
And GM, correct me if I'm overspeaking here, but Kinley will, like, almost out of the blue, it seems like, we'll just reach out and take Hannah's hand again and just say, we've got at least a couple of years, darling.
Okay, so not like weeks, not months. Like we have time. We have time. Time is good. Time gives us
in
free space.
Originally, I don't. Things are
like this time around. Yeah.
You see that the way they're looking at you, like there is something very sad and earnest in their expression that doesn't quite match what you're talking about.
I'm gonna do an off-table chaos roll real quick. She's not gonna ask what she was gonna ask. She's just kind of stare at Kinley and try to surmise what this expression is. Why does she look so sad, or why he looks so sad? And just kind of deflate a little bit and go back to the things that make sense, the logic, the notes, piecing things together, and kind of shoving emotions down, because emotions, or the overwhelming emotions, are what has caused her to shift, and she just does not want that right now. It's almost creating a bristling effect on you. You could almost see like the hair stand up on the back of her neck as she's trying to shove it down. There's so much happening, and there's so much she wants to ask, but it would be overwhelming in this moment.
I think Kinley will, as she continues working, kind of pick one up and kind of just be looking it over and be like, I always wondered if you couldn't like reverse the polarity or something. That's a term, right? Did I get that right?
Yes.
That sounds
yes.
right. Like,
Science.
I was never good at this. I was never good at much, let's be honest, but especially not good at this. I always wondered if you couldn't just turn it back on them. Would have been very
Well,
nice.
if it's emitting sort of a pulse or a wave, if there's a wavelength we can focus in on, it might not be turning it back on them, but we could certainly disarm it. We could make it so that it doesn't hurt us, but I would need to do a little bit more to figure out what that. I would need a lot of time to figure out what that is about.
Yeah, basically, you now the way you're looking at this, you figure that with like a little bit more work, you might be able to get some information together that will tell you how to that might give you an edge. But putting this together like for to either get a weapon you could use or to get a defense against this, that would take
A while.
weeks
Yeah.
of study. Like
Yeah.
this clock is there to allow you to continue with other clocks.
Mhm. With a squeeze of that held hand, Hannah's going to let go and kind of return to the stuff that makes sense.
Yeah.
Kind of sheepishly looking away from Kinley. There's still a uneasiness there, but she feels a little bit more connected in this moment, having had this talk, but still
So,
utterly confused.
next question. Would you like to focus on deciphering the research? Or would you like to use this interaction that you just had to make a connection with Kinley and get some links? Both of them will be very useful in the combat, but you will have to choose one of the other.
Because we could finish out that clock if I roll right.
Correct.
It's only 2 segments.
It's only 2 segments.
But also, like, just so you know, links will be just as useful.
Links are so useful. That's a lot of pressure. In character, I think Hannah would lean towards the analysis, the going towards that research, as desperately good as links are.
I will say that this that you're allowed to do like a reflexively kind of thing where you're like because of the way you're talking. I essentially saw you role play this out, so that's why I'm giving you the option.
Thank you.
Otherwise, it would have been like
Yep.
you're gathering information. So, final call.
Final call. I'm going to research
Amazing. In that case, I would like an analysis check from you.
because I have guardian stuff that can help ish. Analysis
I love the ish there.
ish. Yeah. So that's 2 dice. Anything else I can add to that?
No bonuses, as far as I'm aware. No, it's just your 2 dice. Unless you have something in your abilities that gives you a bonus here.
All my abilities help other people.
Yeah, I thought so. So
Let me see. Just double checking one more time. Yep, just the 2 dice. Let's go. 5.
a 5. That's 3 segments marked, which
We
fills
did
the clock.
it!
So as you decipher the research that the twins have sent you.
Kinley has a thought.
Just a quick. You said Oh no, I rolled it with a +1 dice, not a +1 to the roll. Never mind. My brain. Never mind. Continue.
Thing?
No, because sometimes I get most of the games I play where it's a +1. You like add 1 to the total.
Right.
Oh yeah, no,
So
I
my
believe
brain-
you did roll an additional die, right?
Yes, I did. My brain just went,
Oh,
wait, I didn't
oh,
add the
oh.
1. And it's like, no, that's not how this works, brain. Sit down.
Is this the first time we finished a clock?
This is not D&D.
I have
clocks
played
before.
Okay.
4 systems in the past 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
So, as you, with the information that Kinley has given you, you're starting to think like, oh, maybe I should talk to. No, more important things. Focus on this.
Shove those emotions down.
Science, comfort.
Yeah.
Blinders on. Who is
Who
this
has
person?
use who has use for emotions when you can focus on research?
I feel so bad thinking that way, but that's what she would do.
I mean, it's a completely valid response.
I feel more than enough for everyone.
Yes. Kinley's feeling the emotions for both.
Kinley's definitely feeling the emotions. That's definitely true. But as you start to like you refocus yourself, you go like, no, pay attention to this, Hannah. You start like going over the information again with the information that you had from Kinley, and it doesn't make a lot of sense to you. Like initially, all of the research that you're reading through is like how can the powers of the awakened best be used? Um, and there's a whole bunch of research. Every time experiments seem to end just before the research comes to fruition. Um, and every time you do this, you every time you read through this, it's like they were working with an awakened that had sun powers, and they were having her like blast all of her power onto solar arrays to generate electricity, and that worked for a while until that solar array was destroyed. And then they had another awakened who had some kind of some kind of flora fauna connection, who they had do similar do similar magic to a bunch of uh, to their animals and crops at some of the farms outside of the city. And then a whole bunch of redacted events happened where that ultimately led to the destruction of those farms. And once again, experiment failed. Um, and as you start reading through these more, it seems like whatever Helios is having these magical girls do as part of Project Ascendancy is draining their energy rapidly. And you felt this now, just empirically. When you drain yourself as a magical girl, you leave a vacuum, and that vacuum will be filled. And if you're around friends and you're chatting with them and you're having fun, and even you're stressing a little, but it's like it's no, it's like normal, a normal behavior that everyone has. You don't suffer any issues. However, if you pull a magical girl apart from her support network and you force her to use all of her energy, all of her transcendent energy, she'll still need energy, and she'll get it from wherever. And the more and humans are more naturally inclined to have bad emotions, and they become sponges to that. And as you're going through this, you begin to realize that the Helios hasn't realized that part. All Helios has realized is that they recruit an ascended person. They use their powers. They experiment on their powers, and then suddenly something goes wrong.
We can't figure this out. Why is it so bad every time?
And you realize that they've been working on some research that and this is where Power Rail actually comes in. A bunch of the research that they've been working on was like both biochemical supplements to have magical girls not lose their shit, which, as it turns out, makes them lose their shit harder. And then that was repurposed to make regular humans lose their shit, which resulted in regular humans essentially forcibly being awakened, which not good. But then this project, which is you're now starting to read through this, and there's a secondary project aside Project Ascendancy. Project Ascendancy is the old project. Project Titanomachy is the second one, which you actually because you finished the research project, realize this is a very specific reference to the chains that Titans were bound in at the end of the Titanomachy. So it seems like Helios has decided magical girls are a problem, and it's a problem we need to stop. And Kinley, as Hannah is beginning to read these results out to you, you're beginning to start to piece things together from all of the from everything that has happened in the past, in your past, their future, and you're beginning to realize that wait, yeah, magical girls did go missing, and like completely random ambushes that shouldn't have happened succeeded in stopping squadrons that had been operating for a while. And you're beginning to realize, oh wait, no, maybe they are the baddies.
Maybe they are the baddies? Who's that?
The Helios people that you've been working with to stop the onslaught. And as you collect all of this, there's one thing that you do realize, Hannah, which is all of this seems to be brought together by some form of AI that is gathering up data and specifically targeting ascendant individuals to get there, to track them and then have them disappeared. And as you begin to realize that, you begin to realize the full implication of this research, giving you this will essentially give you a bonus die on like whenever you're interacting with any of the technology that they've researched on this front. And as you realize this, both of you you hear someone whispering in your ear, and for a second it's not really. For a second you like look up and at Kinley, and you see Kinley looking back up at you like, did you say something? And
Kinley has been opening cabinet doors and closing them, and then opening the same cabinet door and then closing it, and then going to a different one, opening it. Because they're hoping to find some kind of like rebreather or mask or something in case another thing goes off. And it's just like banging up a clatter. Just like, come on, Awa, come on, I know you can make it happen.
And the whispering begins to resolve into this soft song. And it's a song that Kinley like immediately recognizes.
Ooh.
And as you recognize that, you hear two soft voices together. Guys, it's Cadenza. We are in trouble. And as that happens, a door begins to swing open behind you as you start hearing the sounds of panicked screams, guns being fired. And that's where we're going to take a break.
Oh, gosh.
Right before we go into the action. So we'll be right back after these messages. These messages being ChronoBloom will be back in like 5 minutes because I don't have to run ads. This isn't Twitch. However, this stream is brought to you by my lovely patrons on Patreon. So if you would like to support the stream, you can do so by either subscribing if you haven't done so already, but if you have done so and you do still have some money to spend, you can go to tav.yt/Patreon, which is in chat right now, or to patreon.com/tavernaut and throw a few bucks so that I can keep paying costs without going into the red. That would be wonderful. With all of that, I would like to say start that clock. Different kind of clock. Save changes. Come on, work with me here. Start. And we are going to go to a break. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Bye-bye.
Hi, dude.
Hello, everyone. That break took a little bit longer than expected, but we are back, and Kay has summoned treats. This is the second time Kay has given the boys treats.
I know it's important.
Mm-hmm. Where's the other boy?
No, he's like me.
So cute. Look at him. Oh, I saw the tail of the other one.
Tail.
Yes, the tail of want.
Yuki, do you want to come up, or do you want to stay down there and get your treats?
Me.
There you go, Yuki.
It's mine.
Adorable. Oh, goodness, cat on a shelf.
I tried to set up this little space so Gilmore would sleep here, and he was like,
No.
Okay. There we go.
Hi.
Yes, half of these are from Sunny.
Oh. Not the player.
Oh, yes, from the
There
player.
we go.
Player
Oh.
also used treats before we went on.
Oh, okay. Hi, Sunny.
Yes, Sonny, you did it before the bot was active, so that one didn't count. Sorry.
Ooh.
So, I'm double checking because I see the music is quite loud, so I'm going to make the music less loud.
That needs to be louder in
There
an action sequence.
So, as you hear Cadenza say, I think we're in trouble. I think we need help. The door, one of the doors in the library swings open, and those doors always reach to someplace different. But the bookshop hasn't come out into an active firing zone yet, so that's new.
Yeah, wonderful. What were the odds that I found a mask or a rebreather or anything like that? The kind of personal protective apparatus.
Go ahead and roll me
Cabinet of-
1d6.
Cabinet of requirement.
Go ahead and roll 1d6.
Come on, Allah. The
That's
3.
cocked. On stream, it's cocked.
Oh, is it?
But-
Oh, is it? I mean, I will
Yeah.
re-roll. I will take that excuse.
No.
Aw.
I just love the fact that it does get that dice can get cocked on DD dice, even if it just tells you what the dice roll was. Would it be even funnier if DD dice just said cocked and you'd have to re-roll it.
Reroll.
In fact, I'm just going to send a message to one of the developers to maybe maybe do that. But as you enter this, I would like one of you to make me an engagement roll. Because I mentioned that you are going into a desperate situation. Technically, I mean, you are entering in medias res into a mission, but I'll give you an engagement roll just to see how your deployment into the mission goes.
I'm gonna
So-
volunteer Kinley because I've done an engagement roll before.
Let's see how generous Awa is feeling.
So, there's always hope. The protagonist starts with 1 die for every mission. Is the mission particularly heroic or noble? Or do the mission's goals or methods reflect the worst parts of the protagonist? I'd say it's heroic because you're not actively... you're actively trying to be big damn heroes and saving your friends. Is the mission following through on details on the protagonist's investigation? I'll give you the die here just because of the because you did the deciphering research project. Are the protagonists acting rashly or on very little information? And die goes back. That drops a die if you do that. Does this mission determine the fate of a friend? Yes. Are troubles from the protagonist's mundane lives getting in the way of this mission? Actually, no. Not your mundane lives.
It's not our problem.
Does the mission's tier exceed the current tier of the investigation track? No, because that hasn't been reset yet. And the other group pushed that up to 3 last time. And are there any other elements? I'll mark one more element. Would you like to start your mission Transcended?
Oh.
Because if you end up starting your mission Transcended and you're rushing in as you transcend, that both gives you an edge as you come in, so a bonus die, and it means that this is mostly relevant for Hana. People don't see her face.
Ooh.
I think hearing the twins are in trouble, Kinley is very much eager, and then hearing the door open to a firefight. Yes, please. I would love to.
Amazing. So as Kinley transforms, and Hana, do you transform along with Kinley?
Hannah will watch Kinley transform, and her heart is just going to start like pumping from the adrenaline, the fear, the hearing gunfire, and seeing how easy it is for Kinley to transform and like reach out a hand for support before she transcends.
Kinley definitely like is like half in motion and then like stops and looks back and is like, remember, it's a mirror. Hang on to what you want to protect. That side of things.
I think for the first time, Hannah transforms from a place of good emotions, from wanting to protect and not from fear or anger. And it is a totally different feeling. It is not that sort of puff pollen of a transformation. It is gentler, and it almost washes over her from her head to her toes. She takes a deep breath and nods. We head in.
Okay. Go ahead and take a link on each other.
Oh.
And that's a 4 die. So 4 dice for your engagement roll.
Right. Let's see if I can roll as well in-game as I did showing off the dice before the game.
That's a 6.
A6, not a crit, but A6, I will take it.
So, good results. You're in a controlled position when the action starts. Things are going as planned, and the protagonists are setting the tempo. This is less things are going as planned and less setting the tempo, and more no one was expecting a door to swing open and cavalry to come charging out. So as this is happening, I'll paint you the scene. You are in the middle of a just your regular a fairly standard office space. As you step out of the doors, you look out, and Kinley, actually you're both familiar with this place. Hana, you haven't been on this floor before.
Oh my gosh.
But when you went to when you went for a grant application, you did enter Helios Tower. And you as you look out over the city, you realize, this is Helios Tower, but I'm very high up in Helios Tower. And you look around, and what you see is the first thing you spot is through a bunch of windows. You see the twins transformed, and just through flashes in the dark, you see them moving around as all the lights have been cut through this floor. You see in one flash, you see the face of the twins' mother looking absolutely like a combination of anger and disgust. And then another, you see the twins' mother firing a gun. And you see it impacting with Enrico, who's in a modified version of his transformed form, and is reaching out to something. And as the impact hits, their entire body de-reses, explodes apart into like bits into bits and pixels. Kinley, you are familiar with this place because this place is here in the future. And you have been here before as well during mission briefings. You look around and you know where you are. This is this in the future is one of the control facilities of Panopticon. An AI that as a tracker, like tracking consumed individuals and giving you update. It's essentially Cortana, like Cortana from Halo is what Panopticon has. You recognize, you know the voice of Panopticon as like a young adult woman, fairly accentless, but like with this quippiness that officers don't like. But
I like her. She's kind of funny.
as you're entering into the facility, you're hearing a younger girl's voice, but you recognize that tone, saying out in like a dispassionate voice, intruders detected, scrambling security, intruders and then that voice cuts as the whole thing with Leyline happens, and you find yourself inside the facility. Leyline has just been de-rezzed. The twins are currently the target of a whole bunch of security forces, and you appear right behind them. What do you all do?
First thing is, as we were coming through, Kinley, still holding Hannah's hand, will give it one more squeeze, and I will spend that link we just got to let her ignore that harm.
Thank you.
Okay. So you are no longer at lesser effect. And that's when the door slams shut, and you are now in here. As you look behind you, the door is just a door to a supply closet. There's no turning back. The only way out is through.
So, Leyline is gone. We've got both the twins.
And a whole mess of people in front of us? Or just their mom?
Yeah, how many? What's the...
Okay, yeah, so what... the way you are... where you are right now is you're at the far end of a hallway.
Mm-hmm.
There's already, like, it's something like 14 security guards that have started setting up defensive posts in the hallway itself. Tables have been pushed over. You are flanking them right now. And then as you look further down, you see that panicking technicians are forcing their way out of the control room that the twins and their mother are in. And what you see there is just the twins and their mother just staring down, like both of them staring each other down.
So we are in a control room with a long hall that we have to go through to get out, correct? Just making sure I've got the scene.
You're like in the hallway in front of the control room.
Okay.
There's a bunch of security guards in between you and the control room. You look, by the way, if you look to your left, you see the elevators, and you see elevators that are going from one elevator that is currently set at -1, and that is going that as you look at it starts to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You are currently on the 30th floor, so you've got a second, but I'm just going to start a 4-segment clock that says reinforcements are arriving.
Great. Is there like a different elevator that we could take to get down, or are we having to make a wild leap? Like, is there a stairwell? What do I know about the layout of this?
There are stairs. There's stairs. There's also a second elevator that is currently coming. That currently has the word penthouse on the marking, and that is currently not moving.
Right. And I'm sorry you said it, but a lot of words was it. What was the name of the AI again?
Panopticon.
And it seems like she's been shut down because of what happened, or she's just like unavailable.
It seems like whatever has happened, whatever Enrico did in his last actions before he got shot, was disrupted the AI.
Okay.
As you also now see, like, computers are beginning to turn off, because pretty much everything here was managed by Panopticon.
Guardian, have you any ideas?
I'm looking at my playbook. A lot of my stuff triggers when other people do things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to look to Kinley for what to do. This is a lot of enemies. My focus, because it's part of my promise, is to protect the twins. So I'm laser focused on getting to them. Whatever that means. And no matter who's in the way.
Yeah, and so there's reinforcement between us and then the twins and the mom on the other side.
Yeah. And then there's reinforcements probably joining you soon.
And are the stairs on the other side of the twins, or are the stairs still on our side?
The stairs would be on your side. Like the stairs, the stairwell loops around the elevators, so the elevator shafts. So
Cool.
It's like in the place where you are.
There and back.
Yeah, essentially, what it looks like is I'm going to
get that whiteboard. Yes.
The blackboard that I have a pun counter on from a different stream. It was a very punny stream.
Oh my goodness.
What you're looking at is essentially
I'm trying.
That liquid chalk.
liquid chalk is amazing.
Goodness.
Ah, yes, the sound of chalk on board. Okay, so very quick drawing. You are currently here in this part. There's a hallway that leads down further into the building. The elevators are currently to your right, and that's also where the stairwell access is. That also means that any reinforcements will be coming in from behind.
Right.
Which is probably good news. As we move forward, the first part is like a control room with a massive security operations screen here, and then a whole bunch of like desks where IT people work. And behind that is a blast door that has been opened. And behind that you see like rows and rows of data banks, and at the far end of that, you see a single. Combination of like a computer or almost a cocoon kind of thing, where which has as Enrico got shot, as Leyline got shot and de-rezzed, he seemed to have grabbed something out of the like a USB stick that was sitting in a pedestal, and as he did that, a something seems to have unlocked, and something behind that starts to slide open, and you see a young girl, eyes fully black with green, green ones and zeros running down them, and black tears streaking down, connected up to a whole bunch of computers as she looks out over all of you. And the two of you immediately realize this is a magical girl who is in the process of getting consumed.
I would like to hit the down button on that elevator just to get the penthouse elevator moving. Just in case we want it.
So, interesting fact, as you do that, you look up at the penthouse thing, and you're expecting it to start moving relatively quickly. For about 30 seconds, it doesn't move as you're starting to do other things. And then as you look back, you see it beginning to move down. Kinley, you are aware of the fact that this facility has a helipad. So I'm going to add another 4-segment clock as I fill out fill out one of the segments on reinforcements, and this one is reinforcements to Electric Boogaloo.
No! I was trying to give us it out.
I am also going to start a 6-segment clock that is called the Panopticon is consumed.
This is a lot.
AI? No AI's here. It's a magical girl. Come on, I was telegraphing that very much. And I am going to start one more 6-segment clock, and we'll call that. Don't worry about it.
Brilliant.
That'll be, you'll know when that becomes relevant.
Right. I think Kinley is just hoping that all of these people are not going to just open fire. It's going to try and run towards the twins in Panopticon. And as
this happens, by the way, the twins are singing, and you are all filled with the same determination that you felt the last time, as you all get a link from the twins. That's the beacon link being triggered because, and thanks Sunny for reminding me of that.
Thanks, Sunny.
As you're looking at this, you see because it's currently behind a closed door. You see the twins mouthing something at their mum, but you can't quite tell what it is just yet until you open the door. You want to get through the security forces. You want to get through the security forces without diminishing the security forces.
I have no intention of fighting, unless I have to. I'm just trying to get. Stuff is happening there.
That is flowing. So
that is not good.
Hey, that is what happens when you describe it as trying to get around it rather than trying to go through it, which would be defying.
But we do have a transcended bonus to flow because of our team stuff. Yeah.
So
that's at least one.
You have one die.
Yeah.
Oh, only one. I will be here for you and give you a +1d here.
That is taking 2 points. Taking a point of stress to support.
It's a guardian ability.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, yeah, I see now.
Yep.
So I put you at a +1. You have a chance to take stress to push yourself, or you have a devil's bargain. Yeah, the only devil's bargain I can think of is that they perceive you as a threat and they start dealing with you, but that's what happens if you fail this roll. So go ahead and roll for it.
I think Kinley is going to just start running. I get 2d6, correct? Because it was 2. Just going to start running through long graceful deer leaps, and is just like almost incoherently shouting like every security clearance, every password, every slogan used, just in the off chance.
Something clicks.
Okay, go ahead and flow for me.
Actually, could I trigger a flashback, flash forward of the
Tell me
last
what the
time I was in here to like get sometime when there was an emergency, when there was like alarms blare, everyone's running to see what's going on, and someone, gave me or Dana or someone else like a funny look, and they stated some kind of security, like some kind of clearance, like whatever word.
To turn off the alarms, essentially.
Not to turn off the alarm, but to be like, no, like
Or
I'm
friendly.
supposed to be here. Yeah. Like,
Okay.
because like, when an alarm goes off and
Yeah,
everyone starts running and everyone
whole-
reaches for a gun and you do a thing where it's like, no.
The whole flash or we thunder kind
Yes.
of situation. Yeah, okay. That is a fairly unlikely flashback.
Okay.
So I'd call that a 2 stress flashback, which with your abilities would be reduced to a 1 stress flashback.
I think that's a good trade. Yes.
Okay.
Let me mark the stress or I will forget. Yes, so Kinley like flashes, their mind goes to, what someone said, and they just, no, it's fine. And they shout out, Alpha Bravo, Catherion, I don't know. And
Okay. I'll give you a bonus die for this.
brilliant.
Converting
Okay.
stress into dice.
Oh,
Oh.
converting stress into stress.
No.
That is
Yeah,
not good.
absolutely. They Alpha Bravo Catherion, it's fine.
Different timeline, new
Yeah,
password. Who
Here-
dis?
here's the first bit of bad news. As you're
Oh.
yelling that at them, you get a sense that they have no idea what you're talking about. Because those are in fact legitimate pulse codes in 10 years.
Yep.
So
Go back to episode 1.
you falter. Press on by seizing a risky opportunity, or withdraw and try a different approach. So that would you're essentially either going to push yourself into risky, and try, and that lets you retry the flow. And I'll say with everything except that bonus die, because we've just established that part of your plan didn't work. So you'd roll 2 more dice, but you'd be rolling it under risky, or you'd have to, it's withdraw and try a different approach, in which case I'll describe what happens with the security forces.
I think Kinley is just very determined. They see not just the twins, but also a kind of friend for the future.
They actually don't recognize them. However, as Kinley looks at that person, they begin to realize that their mind is shifting again, and their mind is starting to shift to a thing where they don't remember working with a Panopticon. Instead, they remember working with a. Let me double check my notes, because I actually have notes for this. Aha. I thought I had notes for this, but I don't remember the exact name of this thing. So in that case, you're beginning to forget interactions with Pan, and as you know, the interactions you had were with some like computerized AI voice rather than with a young female voice. and a voice that was much more regimented and precise and much less whimsical and friendly.
Oh, then yes, Kinley definitely wants to get there immediately because we
Yeah,
don't like that
you
change.
realize
We
you
do not like
realize
that
that this
change.
is probably is Panopticon. That's pretty much something you
Yes, I know that
I'm
voice.
not going to, and not even Kinley is that daft. And you realize that the fact that you're having these memory bleeps is that she might be about to go nuclear.
Yes. All right. I'll try that again with 2 dice.
The alternative is falling back, and then it becomes a case of like forcing your way through, probably.
Yeah,
But
I'd like
if
to
you
try
want to
this
seize a risky
once
opportunity,
more.
that's fine as well.
Try it once more.
Okay, seize that risky opportunity.
Yes.
That's a 6 on a risky opportunity. So you do it. So as you are beginning to rush through, the stuff that you're yelling at them does sound very legitimate, but it's completely illegitimate. So it's a whole bunch of like conflicting orders, and for a second they're all confused. And then, like, one of them, their weapon gets kicked out of their hands as Kinley does this deer leap over them, and then jumps on top of one of the other ones, just hops between 2 pairs of shoulders, and is now standing at the door as it slides open, and you can just hear the final thing in the final bits of what the twins are yelling at, like how could you you actually shot him, he was one of our friends. And their mother just looks back at them, flat look of disgust, goes, I don't care to be talked to that way. But I suppose it doesn't matter, given that I have no children. And as she begins to level the gun at them.
No.
Yeah, the clippy cloppy of little cloven hooves just turns into, you are a very terrible parent.
At this point, you do see the twins turning around, slightly surprised at the fact that what they did worked. Well, risky position. First off, I'm going to mark another tick on the reinforcements track. Yeah, that is happening. As we see the current guards that are standing there, beginning to finally notice that, oh, more magical girls have joined, and half of the guards are going to focus on getting into the control room because a VIP is being threatened, and the other set are turning around, pointing guns at Hana. Hana, what do you do? Risky position.
Oh gosh.
I will note, by the way, that you could get greater effect if you move to desperate.
I think I'm good at risky.
Because that would essentially be like the difference between that would be risky would be just staying normal, doing whatever, keep to your training, and fight them off one by one. Desperate could wipe them out in one fell swoop, but would also risk you hurting yourself. I'll leave
One
it
of
up
my
to what you
promise-
as a guardian would do.
As a guardian and as someone that has made a promise to do everything in their power to protect the twins, I'm going to move that to a desperate position and just try to bulldoze through whoever is in my way, whoever is between me and these twins.
Awesome. So I'm going to assume that you are defying.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go.
Oh, by the way, we should mark transformed actions because
Oh, that's right.
Kinley has had 2 of them already, and you are having your first.
Yes.
Because
So,
if we don't do that, then you will stay transcended forever, and that's probably a problem.
What's wrong with that?
we'll be hunted. That's the problem with that.
Oh no, you'll be hunted regardless. Don't
Oh,
worry
okay,
about it.
then yeah. So I am defying, I am transcended, I am essentially just trying to push my way through by whatever means necessary, defying these guards. I would like to push myself, if I can, taking 2 stress and adding a die, unless you have a poison promise for me.
Well, the poison promise I have is ding, elevator opens.
Oh, nope, I'm good with taking 2 stress. That is way more stressful than 2 stress.
Kinley would be happy to spend a link
Aw.
to help you out.
Right now we're at 3 die. I'll take a 4th unless you want to save it for another action later.
Your call.
I'm gonna be okay. It's probably gonna bite me in the butt. I'm gonna be good at 3. I would rather have something saved.
That's fair.
Because we're putting ourselves in a very precarious place.
No, you don't say.
I know. Okay,
Go ahead
3
and roll for
die.
it.
Oh gosh. Yes.
That's
There's
6.
those 6s.
So you do it, and explain to me how you take care of this particular threat as you're sweeping through these guards.
Oh my gosh. I don't think she realizes her own strength in this form. She hasn't done a lot of combat while transcended other than using plant life. And there is no plant life here. It's a sterile office lab environment. So she's finding herself at a bit of a loss as far as how to use her powers. But I think even before she realizes what she's doing, she is just shoving people out of the way as she runs down this hallway, trying to interpose herself between the twins and their mom, who has a gun pointed at them.
Yeah, fair enough.
Shoving people aside left and right, because she is tall but thin. So I think she's able to, with her height, effectively, not even reverse clothesline people, just shove them.
Yeah. So as you're swinging through them, well, you rolled a 6. I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask you. How much does she not recognize her strength? Are people getting hurt?
Oh gosh.
I would love if she like hands on heads of 2 people, throws them back, and then behind her they like bonk their heads together.
I feel like that's very much what's happening because she is not focused on these people. These people are at the moment obstacles.
Yeah, in that case, as you are swinging through them, you hear
They have helmets, they're fine.
Yeah, they don't have neck braces. As you're swinging through them, you're reaching out to people and just pushing them apart. One of them tries to interpose, and you just take the gun out of his hand as if it's nothing, and just one swing bash them to the side. It's almost like a kid throwing around dolls. And
very much so, yeah.
You don't realize this because you are just filled with adrenaline and energy, although all of it's coming from a good place.
Doesn't stop the damage from happening.
Exactly. So as we see you moving at a relatively leisurely pace, as moving through them, weaving past them, pushing some to the side, disarming one of them, and then we pass through to an audience perspective as we see just a single streak of purple go through the room, and we see guards flying against ragdolling against walls.
Oh gosh.
Then we hear a sickening crack as a gun is pulled from the hands of a guard and then slammed up against the base of their chin, and we focus in on Hana standing there like, okay, I'm here and I'm ready, and standing in front of the twins, making sure to be their shield. And then the bouquet focus shifts to behind you, where we see like this all of these guards lying on the floor, some of them groaning, reaching for like wounds that have happened, and some of them just completely silent.
I think she's gonna stare down Alicia. That's her name.
You had
Miss Evil Mom.
Alicia.
Alessia,
I
and
don't know if it's Alessia or Alicia, but that's the spelling. And honestly, I don't care. She's a dick.
yes. With there were red lights flashing before, and just narratively, I think that's really cool as they reflect off of the transcended form's visor, and she's just staring the mom down. Enough. Staring down at her.
Okay. It sounds to me like you're defying again.
Oh, am I? Okay.
Unless you have something else in mind, but
No,
that definitely
defiant.
sounds defiant.
Great. And that's
Also,
my second transcended action.
where's your transcended ability supposed to be?
I have it marked as bolstering presence. Is that not what you have for me?
No, you're supposed to have one dot transcended somewhere. You're supposed to have one transcended dot, like Kinley has in Flow. I don't see it on your character sheet, on the character sheet that I have here. So
I only have my transcended ones in what our group one is. So that's empathize, forgive, and flow.
No, you get one. Okay.
Oh, I get one. Can I? It would be wrong to retroactively put it in defy.
No, I'll let you do that.
If you will let me do that, I will do that.
Yeah, you've been making such aggressive use of that ability that I'll say that is completely fine.
Would track. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I'll mark another desperate XP because you're still in a desperate position. As you are going to, and I'll mark another action. You've got 2 actions remaining.
Yep.
As you go, no. Go ahead and roll for it.
3 dice in defy. I'm not gonna push myself.
Again, I have a link.
No, but I'm scared to use. I'm that person that saves all the health potions in a game. I will leave that up to you if you want to. It is your link to spend.
That's Kinley's choice to use the
and
link.
Kinley is right here as well.
Yeah. I think Kinley seeing that, that Hana is here and standing in front of the twins, feels a just rush of relief because they need to get to Panopticon. But the twins need to be taken care of, so they're very torn. And I think with GM permission, I will not spend the link, but they will shout, "Remember what you're fighting for," and head towards Panopticon.
And I think that does resonate with her because right now she is so hardline focused on the mission, and that's bringing her a little bit of humanity back.
Do you take a point of stress to assist it there, Kinley, or?
I just, if I need to, I just narratively, wanted to make sure that she had that.
Yeah,
and
I'm
whatever
just
I need to do mechanically.
I'm mostly asking if you want to spend a point of stress to give a die to Hana.
I think she's good in defy. I think
okay.
She's,
In that case, no bonus dice.
3 dice.
However, actually, yeah, no, this seems legit. Sonny, feel free to say no in chat because you're here, but the twins are going to spend one of their points of stress.
Yeah,
they have 2 points of stress left.
Sonny has noted we have a link.
Oh yeah, in that case, she's going to spend a link. I'm noting that I have been given full permission to have characters sacrifice themselves if they.
Oh. Oh no!
But yes, she'll spend a link. She'll spend a link on you to give you a bonus. Let's go with like
crit.
So scared.
Let's go with the bonus die.
Okay, so that's 4d6. Let's go. Okay.
It's a success.
That's a 6. Once again, a success.
I'm having a good day.
So as you look at her and you just give her this glowering stare, she
baring her little fangs.
For once, the matriarchal presence of the twins' mother is cowed, and she's going to take a few. She's going to take a few steps back and go like, sod it all. Sod it all. Security can deal with you, as she's going to attempt to book it. Speaking of security dealing with you, and a tick
Mark
has been
that
marked in
clock. Yep.
reinforcements, and a tick
Mm.
has been marked in reinforcements to Electric Boogaloo.
So that's 3 and 2.
And a tick has been marked in the Panopticon is consumed.
What about
I
that
haven't,
lovely
I haven't
circle?
done my action yet, have I, for
Ooh.
this?
No. That's just because of all the time that has been spent, and now it is Kinley's turn.
Yeah, I'm going to rush up to Pen and try to figure out how can I help? How can I stop this happening?
Okay. So, thank you, Sunny. So as you reach out to the Panopticon, you are pulled into cyberspace.
Oh, brilliant.
Almost involuntarily. Rosie, for Hannah, as you look behind you, you see the eyes of Kinley go black, and then you see numbers beginning to run down them as well. As
My eyes were strange enough before, but now.
as a second later, you see Kinley slump.
Oh gosh.
Slump forward, as we're now moving into cyberspace. Cyberspace moves faster than real space. So, Kinley, you're standing now in a facsimile of the city. You are towering above it. As you look towards a woman completely made out of light, who is slowly this blackness starting to seep up their ankles, and just behind that there's another shape. It's completely obscured by the light, though.
There's another shape.
Like a silhouette.
Sorry, I was like, I am so confused. I didn't know there was one ship.
There's another one somehow.
Thesis called. He wants his ship back.
Like, look. Kinley is often confused, so wouldn't completely surprise me.
Yeah. So, what do you do in this situation?
I think what is Panopticon looking like? Does she have an expression? Does she seem to be in pain? Does she seem to be what am I getting?
She's turned away from you right now. She's turned towards whoever is on the other side of the figure. And as she's turned away from you, and there's like garbled noise, and then there's from someone else speaking, and then there's just echoey voice, a voice you've heard multiple times many times in the past, as she goes, I don't know what to do. It hurts so much, and she's fading quickly.
Does it seem like she's like does it seem like she's like fighting this person, or does it seem like
it almost seems like she's like, as you're starting to are you starting to approach?
Yeah, I'm hurrying towards her.
Yeah, as you're hurrying towards her and you're starting to like make a semicircle around her, you can't really get near her because there's just this full sunlight that almost that blinds you and almost burns you as you try to get closer. And as you loop around her, you see a man standing in front of her, holding her hands, like they're holding her hands, going like, "You'll be all right. Go on, give it to me." And as you see Leyline at this point, helmet off, armor completely, like armor ripped and teared in places, looking incredibly tired, but still trying to help. As this blackish this soot is starting to transfer over to his suit.
Kinley is going to try to help. Be that, can they shout? Can they analyze and give any of them? Like, I don't even know where to start with how to help on this.
One thing else,
because I can't get close.
Yeah, one thing else that you could do. At this point you're starting to be able to get closer. It's just this kind of forced you around. If you approach from where Enrico is, you definitely would be able to get there. As you turn around and you are now able to see her face. You do see like the black soot that's forming on her ankles is actually coming from like pools of black tears that are starting to fall down her face as she is being consumed. You could also I will note that you can try to call in help, because you figure that it would be possible for Hana to jump in here as well with you.
That's leaving the twins alone. I think this feels like a situation where it needs to be solved with emotion, not fighting or defiance. Is that the vibe I get, or the vibe Kinley would get?
That's the vibe Kinley would get.
All right.
If it's correct, you don't know, but that's definitely what Kinley reads in this situation. For
the moment, I will leave Hana with the twins in the real world, hoping that she will get them out of there. And I think Kinley is going to do what their instinct says and rush forward, even if it's bright, even if it's hot, even if it's burning, and just try to embrace Panopticon and just hold her and just say, it's all right. It's all right.
Okay. So as you're doing that, I'll give you forgive for this one.
Ooh. All right then.
Like reaching out into someone's heart there. However, remember that clock I said that I said to not worry about? Yeah, that clock is revealed now as Leyline is taking on the consumption.
So if I free her, Leyline is going to become consumed.
Potentially. There is always the everybody lives Rose scenario.
Right.
But that will that depends on how you play this.
I think I'm going to try this. I'm going to see how it works. If that doesn't work, there's maybe a couple options. I've only got so many transcended moves, but let's see what the dice say.
Okay.
5.
The dice say 5. So in a desperate position, that is, you do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer severe harm, a serious complication occurs, or you have reduced effect. Yeah, I'm going to go for the severe harm.
Right.
As you reach out and you hug the fiery being, you are in the computer. This shouldn't hurt, but it does. As you start to get burned by this light, and outside of this, Rosie, as Hana turns towards Kinley, you see little tufts of smoke starting to come up as you don't know what's going on, but Kinley is slowly starting to it's slowly starting to immolate, as if something something is burning them, and they are beginning to twist, like he's beginning to twist and like involuntarily twitch as this is happening. In the simulation itself, you're going to take a level 3 harm.
Is this a harm my armor can absorb?
This is a harm your armor can absorb.
All right.
Although it is a harm your armor can absorb and swing down to a level 2 harm.
I'm
This
fine
is a
with
serious one.
Yes.
Because the level 3 would have been immolated. The level 2 is burned.
Right.
As burns are beginning to appear over in Hana, you see as you have 2 options. The twins' mother is essentially running away, probably going to try to get reinforcements. You see the twins getting ready to go after her. But on the other hand, you see Kinley as like patches of red start to grow over the place where her face is exposed, where his face is exposed, and you're just slowly seeing them burn up.
I will yell to the twins to stay together. We need to stick together. As I run over to Kinley and try to assess what is the best course of action to stop whatever this is, to stop them from hurting, because my other promise is to save Kinley at all costs.
Oh, I love to gut punch.
That's my promise of martyrdom.
So I'm going to go ahead, and that's funnier than you know, honestly.
I know, and I hate it.
Kinley now has a level 2 harm called Burned. As you arrive at Kinley's position, you see that Kinley is dropped into the system, and as you touch like their face, starting to assess wounds, it's cool to the touch.
They're not actually like hot.
Yeah, they're not actually. It seems like they're not actually on fire. But as this is happening, you see like burn marks are starting to spread across their arms. It's definitely still affecting them. Your options are essentially stick within, or go stick within the where you are now and try to help from there, or dive in as well. As you are looking up, though, you do see that the girl that is strapped down in that chair, their eyes are the tears have begun to stop, and you've got a feeling that something is going well, at least.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, and then we'll just push back to what Kinley does, because Kinley definitely did something. As you embrace her, you feel some of the soot starting to reach over to you, and no, that's not going to happen. You have so much love to give, and you realize this is someone who has been like completely. They've used her up, and just like that magical girl who was just constantly forced to send power into a solar array, just like the one who was helping crops grow. She's used up. And the only reason that she hasn't started being consumed yet was that she didn't have a direct connection to the outside world. Now she does, and you need to replace that as quickly as possible. So you actually do knock the Panopticon is consumed clock back by you had a regular success, so that's 2, and now it is revealed as a racing clock, which means that bad things that happen push it towards will push it towards the bad outcome. Good things that happen will push it towards the good outcome. So it's now one segment towards a good outcome. But there's also a severe consequence, as Leyline is essentially aiding you in this by reaching out and just taking all of the bad stuff out, so that you have place to put the good stuff in, which means that Leyline is going to start falling. So we're two tick marks bad towards Leyline. We're at 3 tick marks good, 1 tick mark bad towards towards Panopticon, and you don't want it to get to 6 more on either side.
So we're too bad on Panopticon, too bad on
2 negative.
Leyline?
It's currently -2 for Panopticon and +2, a -2 for Leyline, +2 for Panopticon.
Okay. Yeah, I think knowing that Leyline is more like Hana, and is logical, I think Kinley is going to try to shout out this information and tell Leyline what is happening, regardless of if he can hear it, if he can use it, so at least he has that information. I would like to just Kinley is pretty hurt, and I think knows that they're pretty hurt, and needs to try once more to try to help her, but doesn't have much time where they can do this. So I think they're going to try again to reach out to her by just sitting and telling her stories, rapid fire, hardly even coherent, but just flows of, and this one time you said this and everyone glared, but Dana and I laughed so hard. You were always such a joy, and you brought so much life to everything, and this thing that they're trying to replace you with is just terrible, just absolutely cold, and we need you. Like, I need you, because without you to make us smile in the future, it's no good without you.
Yeah, so I'm assuming you're moving towards a confess there, or an empathize.
One or the other doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I am rolling without a dice.
Oh,
It's
No,
1, but I've got a negative because of my wound.
Yes, you are.
But I'm going to push myself.
Keep in mind, the twins do have a link on you, which you could use to resist, to ignore that burn.
I think I will do that, twins willing.
Yeah.
Ignore the burn. So I'm also going to push myself. So that will put me
Put you at 5 stress.
I will spend a link to give you an extra die, as Hannah is holding Kinley and just trying to support them. If you want that.
I'm at 3 then, right? Correct? Before you, because if I push myself,
yes.
I've got 1. I get an extra.
Yes.
I get 1.
You're
get the
sitting at
extra
2
for pushing
right
myself.
now.
I'm sitting at 2. We'll take that link. So that will give me 3. This is going to be very interesting.
Because I'm also helping you get to mark a segment on your recovery clock. Because I'm transcended and guardian stuff.
Okay.
That is actually rather brilliant. So I'm very close to actually being able to recover from that.
Yeah. You're 1 mark on your
1 mark.
1 mark on your recovery track away from that.
All right, because when this finishes, a thing is going to happen because it's my last transcendence.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Roll.
I am going to say this. This is technically not a rule from the game, but I like it as a finale, last ditch effort thing. You are allowed to stay in Transcendence at a cost of 1 stress per action.
All right. In that case, yes. I will take a stress. I will not push myself in that case.
Okay.
So I'll be rolling with 2d6. I will stay transcended. I will take that link.
Yeah, so you're now at 4. You don't need to take your stress right now, but the next action you take will require stress or you fall out of your Transcendence.
Absolutely fine.
Same thing, by the way, goes for you as well, Rosie, when Hannah reaches max stress.
Right, let's see if this works. That's 4.
That's 4. So you're trying to reach out to Leyline, or honestly, you're trying to reach out to Enrico. As you try that, you feel that thing between the two of you where he doesn't seem to trust you, it's still there. And no severe harm this time. However, like as you try to reach out to him, as you try to get him to understand, he goes, right, completely see what you mean. The darkness needs to go. I'm sorry, Kinley. I'll have to do this. You'd get it wrong. As he reaches out and he starts pulling even more of the darkness out of which a slight twist to what you're doing does mark 2 more ticks towards Panopticon, but it also marks another tick towards Leyline.
Good ticks towards Panopticon?
Good ticks towards Panopticon. Negative ticks towards Leyline. Leyline is now at 3 negative. Panopticon is now at 4 positive. 2 more needed to help Panopticon not fall. Meanwhile, Hannah, you've not yet dived in. So as you turn around, you see the twins leaving your field of view as they're running after their mother.
No, stay. Don't split the party. I feel like at this point, having seen Kinley twitching and in pain, I would have supported their head just so it wasn't like banging against the cold floor. She's at a bit of a loss of what to do. She's not in her element. It's a very clinical, very harsh computer-based area, which great data, yay, but that doesn't help us right now. We need something physical. We need something to fix whatever is happening, and it doesn't make sense because it's magic and they're burning but they're not, and I feel like in this moment it's just almost an intrinsic falling forward, both physically and emotionally, as Hannah touches her head to Kinley's forehead and will dive in through that connection.
Okay. So as Hannah Hannah feels the world go to black for a second, and then she's standing in a meadow. She's standing near an old oak tree, like holding her hand against it for a second, was this all just a bad dream? Am I back? And then she realizes that the sun is incredibly bright as she looks up, and you see titans towering over you, as you see a massive being made out of pure light, being held by a gigantic fawn and a gigantic man with a ball of plasma for a head, in a tattered spacesuit, who's like the plasma itself is slowly starting to get streaks of blackness through it, as well, you know in an instant what is happening. The Panopticon is started being saved, but Leyline is falling. And with that, we're going to go for a quick break.
Oh gosh.
Should have seen that coming, everyone. So we'll be right back after this for the final stretches of this episode.
Help.
See you all in just a tick. Bye. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. So, where were we? Oh, yeah, right. Hannah, you are currently standing in your calm place.
So calm.
And then you look up, and over the city, towering, you see these three colossal figures, not fighting, it seems. But you do hear a booming voice, and I know, and I'm sorry, but I have to do this. You'd get it wrong. As you see blackness starting to surge away from that being of light into the orb that is Leyline's head.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
What
my
does
goodness.
Tiny Hannah do?
Tiny Hannah, because she is not the size of these colossals. Oh, she's so small, and she's feeling very small.
I like to think she's right by a clippy cloppy hoof.
Oh my god. Just looking up. I think she's going to take in the situation, see that this is the source of why and how Kinley is burning. See the blackness that is entering her other friend, who she's known longer than anyone else on the team. Just because coffee shop, and she goes there.
Mm-hmm.
She is going to feel so utterly conflicted, and I feel in this moment she is going to, in her diminutive size, just try to interpose herself, even though it is impossible physically, between Leyline and the source of this darkness. She doesn't know that this is a magical girl. She just knows that it's causing harm to both of her friends.
Although it definitely looks voluntary.
It looks voluntary. Like there's not fighting, but she's
Kinley
but
plugging this.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that Hana cares. So it sounds like you're defying.
Again.
Which, to be fair, you're getting real close to getting another dot of XP. Because you're now one more sun action away from filling that XP tracker again.
I am, for sure.
Go ahead and roll for it.
Oh gosh. So that's 3 dice, nothing else. I'm just seeing if I'm helping anyone while I'm doing this. Nope, not helping anyone. I will in fact push myself to get 4 dice. Because
Tell you what, take a link.
Take a link. Do I have any left?
I have a link with you. I have 3 links with you.
Oh, beautiful. That's right.
I rolled 6.
Okay, so instead of getting stressed out even more, I will take that link.
You're currently, surprisingly enough, the least stressed out person in the
Which
group.
is hilarious. But as we discussed, stress is not stress. Yay! That's been every action as transcended. She's liking being transcended now.
So yeah, as you reach into yourself.
Good transcendence. Remember, good transcendence.
Yes. This is narratively good.
You realize you hear this little voice in the back of your head that goes, "No, you are not tiny. You're the biggest person here." As you start stepping forward, like chest raised, like, "No, none of my friends are going to get hurt here," and you're beginning to grow. And every step you grow taller until finally you stand in between them and just push them apart and go, "No!" And then
holding on to both of them, and maybe even a little bit of that blackness touching just the tips of her fingers as she holds them apart.
Yeah, but as you're doing this, what powers you is your concern for your friends. Mm-hmm. As you reach out and you just blast them apart. That is the energy you send into them. A little bit of the blackness tinges your fingers and is then quickly burned out. As around you, flowers start blooming, and you had a success on a desperate roll. So you do have. That means you are at normal effect. So you're going to push Panopticon towards the good outcome. Panopticon is essentially 1 away from getting all of that expelled, and Leyline is going to start being pushed back to some semblance of sanity, as he is now 1 tick into the negative instead of 3 ticks into the negative.
I'm specifically I don't know her, so I'm not looking at Panopticon. I'm looking at Enrico as I do this, trying to bring him back.
Yeah, he staggers back for a second, and then he goes, "No. You. Why must you always try to be so helpful?"
Because we're a team.
This was your third transcendent action.
Yep, I need to mark that.
So
sure.
you're one transcendent action away from starting to take stress as well. What does Kinley do in this situation?
So
You were just blasted away as well when suddenly Hana out of nowhere.
right.
You?
Looking at Enrico, he does not look like he's he doesn't look like he's he's not receptive to this terribly much yet, right? Like
No, it looks
left
like
to his own
Enrico.
thoughts.
It looks like Leyline is struggling with like almost reaching into Eclipse. But you also know that with the forces that are arrayed against you, if Leyline eclipses right now, Leyline is staying eclipsed.
Okay.
That's the risk here. All of you, if any of you eclipses, you've got a feeling you're probably fine. But Leyline has poured so much of himself into this interaction that if Leyline eclipses here, that's the end of Leyline.
All right. I would like to either hold my turn until after what Hannah does, or I know it's not really turns, but I either want to like do a thing after Hannah does a thing, or I would like to do like half of a thing and then trigger the other half after Hannah's action.
Let's go with half of a thing.
Okay,
just to keep everything, just to keep everyone moving at the same time. Speaking of everyone moving at the same time,
The twins.
we cut to the twins facing off against what seems to be a group of security forces that have moved out of the elevator.
Oh no!
And they just look at each other, and then go and then in unison, one will say for Kinley, and the other one will say for Hannah as they turn around, and we see just light flaring up around them as they are trying to defend your position.
My babies.
Keep in just to have a little bit of a thing happening. Just on the thing,
No stress. Go into that.
They are defying. I'll give them a bonus die on the defy. Let's see how they do. Oh, that is very good. Very good. Very good.
Okay.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it. I'm sure it'll be fine. I definitely didn't just mark a box of stress and a wound on them.
Oof, oof. Oh, twinsies.
The babies.
So,
all right. Kinley is going to look to Hannah just with an expression that just says like, I fucked up, right? Like it's and it's going to say he needs you, and they're going to turn their attention to Panopticon, and they are going to say like, I understand. I understand. It's scary. I'm afraid too. I thought I was doing things right, and I'm not. And I need you to just remember all the good things, because you're not alone. We're together, and I'm afraid too. And they're going to try, and I'm hoping that's enough to be a confess. Maybe.
I'll give you a confess. You also take a point of stress because you're forcing your form. So that's the first point of stress from that.
And I'm also going to push myself, so that is 3.
That's 2 more points of stress. You're 1 stress away from stress away from Eclipse.
I should. Oh yeah, I can take 1 more before I risk it.
1 stress, and then you start eclipsing.
Perfect.
And I would like to be here for you and give you another die.
Well, we only need 1 segment, or do you get that for free?
It's just a guardian thing.
Cool.
It extends my special armor.
Okay.
Oh, in that case, you can only do that once. The special armor is the armor you get from transcending.
Well, beans. Never mind.
I believe you've now already done that, so you don't have armor.
I did that once. I can't do it again. My bad.
That's fine.
Cool.
The pushing myself is the important part.
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to hold what happens when I push myself until after Hannah does what Hannah does, which will hopefully be good. But
Okay.
I'm going to roll 3d6 for Panopticon.
Mhm.
No, 2d6. 1 in confess, 1 in pushing myself.
Let's see. 1 in confess, 1 in pushing yourself. You're good.
Yeah, I don't have anything else I can do.
That's fine.
So that is
That's a
a
fail.
3,
It's a
which
3.
is the worst outcome. You suffer severe harm, a serious complication occurs, or you lose this opportunity for action. I will give, because you feel like you're beginning to reach out, and you're just out. You're just done. You don't have anything left.
Mm.
Hannah, would you like to intercede here? This is about to turn bad. Anything you can do to give Kay another die is completely valid right now.
Oh my gosh. I don't have any more blanks.
You can take stress.
I will take the stress and help out.
Yeah, go ahead and roll another die.
That's 2 stress or just 1?
1 stress. 1 stress for assisting.
Yep, I can do that.
That's a 4.
That's a 4.
That's just
Little
enough.
better.
That's, I mean, I think we all took stress from that roll, including Sunny watching.
In real life and in
Yes,
game.
yes, all of us in real life took stress.
Yeah. Remind me, how much
one little
XP are you
right
at right
here.
now for Moon?
That would fill out my
Yeah. So
Bar.
which of your skills are you adding a point to?
I feel like Kinley is clueless, so it makes more sense to put it in confess.
Okay. Kinley is going to maintain not knowing anything as Kinley just reaches out, and that is the final push that was needed.
Mm-hmm.
As the sun flare, the sun flare begins for a second, it dissipates, and then the sun explodes as you see a little girl. Starting to tumble down, and slowly starting to age up into the woman that you saw there, like probably a teenager in her 14s. You immediately realize, oh, this kid was like 6 when she was when she showed prompt power, which is very young to gain powers, but it has been known to happen, and they just used her as a computer. As she's tumbling down, you see her body de-resing, and we switch over to the facility because nothing bad happens to Kinley, but a severe complication occurs. As we see a neon green light flash, and she just sinks down into that chair, awake, barely, and alive. And it is that point that we switch over and we see the twins under active fire, as they look behind them and see, oh no, we have someone else to protect, and they can't defend themselves, and they're going to turn around and push themselves, trying to force these people away, which is going to be a defy from them. And this one I'll roll publicly, and you may not want them to succeed on this, because they are going to push themselves, which puts them into eclipse.
Oh, my twinsies.
Which puts them into potential eclipse.
Right.
Rephrase. So first is going to be the action that they take against our friendly friends, the hostiles. Oh, that's not good.
I don't have
So-
a link.
I don't either.
I used it.
So yeah, they're going to surge forward, and as they do this, bullets start impacting them, and you see them impact against this armor of light that they project around themselves, and break apart as they are rushing forward, and they eclipse, or well, will roll for an eclipse.
Mm-hmm.
So let me pull up the eclipse rules.
Come on, twinsies. Come on, twinsies.
Oh god, there's 123 mentions of eclipse in this book. Rolling for eclipse. When you roll reach or exceed your stress limit, you roll for eclipse using your lowest attribute. While at your stress limit and not an eclipse, any additional stress that you would take instead triggers another eclipse rule. So they will roll their lowest attribute, which is stars. They have 0 stars. They'll need at least a 4 for anyone to be able to link up with them.
Come on, double sixes.
Oh.
That's a 4. So another protagonist can push themselves or spend a link to keep them from succumbing.
I could do it, but narratively, I'm not aware of what's happening with them.
So for story's sake, I will fully allow that to happen, because you can hear the twins anywhere.
Mm.
Even in here, you were still hearing their singing in the background, and you hear their singing starting to turn discordant. I don't know if you remember Shrek 4, I think it is. That one scene where Snow White comes out of the forest with the animals and sings a wonderful song that turns into I believe Welcome to the Jungle. Those vibes you're beginning to feel in the back of your mind as this discordant aria starts playing.
Sunny has pointed out, which I thought, when you have no, you take the lower.
Oh,
So
that's right.
So that was a 1.
Oh.
Yeah. So, well, in that case, all I've described is definitely still happening.
We just can't do anything
Can't
about it.
help. Yeah.
Yep. So you hear this discordant aria, and as we switch over back, they didn't roll well in their attack, but honestly, what they tried to do was like defend everyone. You see Arya and Alto standing side by side, as the same rapiers that manifested during the first episode manifest in their hands, but now the blades themselves aren't pure light; they're black. As blackness starts to engulf Alto first, who turns to his sister and goes, "You can't do anything right, can you? Fine, I'll do it." And Arya just beginning same blackness beginning to travel up from where she's wielding a sword, just begins screaming as she rushes forward. They are essentially covered into their outfits turn black. Their normally like golden eyeshadow and eyeliner turns entirely black as well. Meet the Goth twins.
I mean, they do wear it well, but it's not good.
As you see them, well, you don't, but the audience sees them rushing forward, and that floor is getting turned into a bloodbath.
And even more heartbreaking, we can hear them anywhere. So we
Yep.
hear this. We just can't do anything about it.
Yeah, and the final thing that you hear, and this is not part of the song, but it's part of the crescendo, as there's a crashing sound, as what the audience is seeing is the twins' mother flying through the window, and that's where we swing back to you.
Oh my god. Mm.
So
This is fine.
what-
This is fine.
you have saved one, and you're on your way to save another, and then you may have to save another of your friends. What do you do?
I am still focused on Enrico, but I have the twins screaming in my head, understanding the depth of what has happened to them, understanding the darkness of what is happening to them, of what had been prevented before during that first encounter and what is now happening in this moment. And feeling exceptionally conflicted, but she has a friend in front of her right now that she can save. She knows she can save them. She is going to, having seen that it worked on whoever's behind her, she's just going to wrap her arms around Enrico and just repeat over and over, "We're a team, we need you." And I would argue this is empathize. I know what it's like to try to save everyone. We can't save everyone alone. We have to do this together, just babbling on and on, trying to bring him back from whatever brings him back.
I will give you empathize.
Kinley will spend a link to give you another dice.
Okay, that's
You may
3.
want greater effect here instead.
Oh, greater effect then. Great.
Okay. So 2 dice,
Um,
hoping for a greater effect.
And do you want to push yourself?
Ooh, we're getting real close. It's finale day. Yeah, let's push. Unless you have a
Okay.
poison promise. I personally can't think of any that are great for this particular instance.
I also have a
Not-
thing that's going to trigger at the end of this.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not going to give you a poison promise. I don't
Okay.
really have one.
I will take the
So,
stress.
2 stress left until you eclipse,
Yes, that
and
is
1
accurate.
stress left until Kinley eclipses.
Oh, we are all doing so good.
Uh-huh.
So that is 3 die.
Also, yes, I discussed this with Sunny, and Sunny went, hurt me.
Every single transcended action has had a 6.
we just
Narratively,
say
this
2?
is so good.
Can we just say the first dice was a 1?
Yes, we can say
The
that because that
third
was
dice
terrifying.
was a 6. No, I'm looking at the way
Yeah.
it rolled. The first
Yes.
dice was a
First
1.
dice was a
It was
1,
that
second
third
dice was a 4, third die 6.
My
That's the order it rolled
gosh.
in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
The
as
power
you
of teamwork.
as you reach out, you take that last bit of darkness. You take in all of the darkness that was still hitting Leyline as he slumps for a second, and then looks back up to you and goes, "Well, good job on you. I guess you can save everyone,
You
And
can try.
but I'm." Well, actually, what do you say?
Kinley is going to pop him out of the time stream so he can sit with that feeling as part of my push myself action from before.
I have some bad news
Oh dear.
because something is triggering that. No, actually, this is going to change slightly because you blast him with that energy, and you feel him pulling you and Hannah along. As he goes, I'm sorry, but I can't go back where you're going. And you feel him starting to dissolve into a combination of energy and bits and bytes, but he forces you back into he pulls the both of you into like a final moment, which it's a real shame that we don't have Nathan here for, but such is life and schedules, I'm afraid. And I think we'd best leave what is said here for a moment when we can get Nathan's input on that. As the two of you are forced, as the two of you for a moment sit with Enrico. Not Leyline, just the mask has fallen off, and as you see, like his skin slowly starting to turn into, starting to pixelate and starting to give way. A real Mr. Stark, I'm not feeling so good moment is happening. But before the last bits and bites of his face, the last bit that you can see turns away, he just gives you a quick smile and goes, "Oh, you're not rid of me that easy." And then he disappears and the time stream resumes. You find yourself both knocked out of the program. As you turn around, you see the twins just collapsed, looking at broken windows. And there's this around you, this dirge is playing. No upbeat songs. There's something has gone horribly wrong. As they just turn to you and in for a moment in concord, but just slightly separated, ask you, "What have we done?"
We've got to get out of here.
Can Awa help us? Is there any way that Awa can... Magic, I don't know how it works.
So, as all of you look around, not knowing what to do, Kinley, you do feel that little connection that you have with Awa. As at this point, that elevator that was coming down from the helipad roof, that probably has some form of high threat response team in it, stops, and the light blinks out, and then you just hear this. You hear a familiar voice in your head. Once more into the breach, right? And the elevator doors ding and slide open towards Awa, giving you a clear way out.
Thank you, friend. I'm going to try and scoop up Panopticon.
Yeah.
I'll try to grab the twins.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that. That isn't even an action, so don't worry about eclipsing it on your last action. And Hana, you pull the twins with you, and they just look defeated as you pull them back into the door, and the elevators go shut, and ding. And that is the end of ChronoBloom.
We did
Within
it!
the Kinley just pulls everyone.
Yes. We can fix this.
And as we end the last episode, I would like to, for one more time, introduce you to this wonderful cast that I got to traumatize for a full month. Thank you all so much for playing with me. Going the other way now, Rosie. Who are, what do, where find, why?
Who are Rosie, Sweet Rosie B, just about everywhere on the internet. The Sweet Rosie B on Tumblr, where I am posting a little more art nowadays. I am a TTRPG performer, a showrunner, a producer, an artist. Wear lots of hats. Love every one of them. Coming up next week on August 8th, because August is already here, believe it or not. We are premiering our show, Silver in the Stars, which is a Pirate Borg reskinned sci-fi adventure. Very excited. All those details are posted on X, Twitter, whatever it is now, and also Blue Sky.
The app.
The app. Other than that, you will be able to find me at Big Bad Con, where I will be on a panel discussing asexuality in the TTRPG space. You will also be able to find me at PAX U eventually. I'm just going far out because this is the finale. You'll be able to find me at PAX U running games with Hana Gaming. They run horror games, so Call of Cthulhu, Vampire the Masquerade, you name it, we got it. We'll play it.
Amazing.
That's all I got.
Next up, Kinley. Who are, what do, wherefore, why?
Hello, I've been your friendly neighborhood horned himbo. I am Kay Purcell. I do TTRPG stuff every chance I get. You can find me on the Twits and various social medias at KDamnFear. If I'm not at KDamnFear, then I have probably just switched it over to Chaotic Wholesome Presents or just Chaotic Wholesome, depending on which handle I get. Branding's hard, y'all. Find me every Tuesday at Chaotic Wholesome Presents on the not the Twits, the Twitch, for the Table Talk Show, where we talk all things TTRPGs from indies to intersectionality. Do lots of streams there as well. What else do I have that I can actually talk about? Find me on the initiative order for Chalice every third Wednesday. It's an interesting schedule. I'm going to be a lot of places. Follow me somewhere on the socials or on Discord to find out where the heck and why the heck. The VOD for the My Little Pony is going up very, very soon on our YouTube. I will also be at PAX Unplugged. I don't know what panels or what yet, but I know I'm going to be doing a thing. So see me there. And thank you all for putting up with my delightful little good bean who just has no clues. But a big heart.
Okay. And then I have been your friendly neighborhood Tav. I enjoy traumatizing characters, but not players. And I have had a absolutely wonderful time here. I'm going to make one last call for support. If you enjoy this, please give us a like, a subscribe, comment, do the things that the YouTube algorithm gods want you to do. Also consider consider throwing some support our way on Patreon, because that really helps me pay for the casts and crew. Finally, there is the fundraiser for the ECF that is coming up next month. Casting for that is still open. That is going to be open until the end of next week. You can find out more for that with the handy dandy short link taft.yt/ECF. You will see me again. You will see me on the Xbird app as Tavernaut, on the Cloud app as Tavernaut, on any other place where Tavernauts are sold as Tavernaut. As we've now done our credits, we go into a quick after credits scene. But first, we go into a quick after credits scene when the last credit rolls, which is for Dungeon Delves, the wonderful artist who made the art for all of the characters. Look at it one last time, because we go into an after credit scene as we see a like an alt rock style, like 20-something woman making her way into a coffee shop. As she walks in, there's a beep on her phone and she pulls it up, and there's a single message there. I'm sorry, I'll have to do a rain check, but coffee's waiting for you, Leyline. And with that,